everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Badass Records Podcast. I am your host, Blair Johnson, and I'm here to remind you that you can keep tabs on this thing on Twitter and Instagram. You can subscribe where you stream audio or on the YouTube, or sign up at the website, badassrecordspodcast.com. If you'd like to do an in-person episode with me here in Kansas City, hit me up at badassrecordspodcast@gmail.com. It's badassrecordspodcast@gmail.com. I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. I say this often, but
Do I need to move it? I don't need to do anything, right?
You're fine. I like language and numbers, so I always frequently nerd out about like the episode number and what else. And so episode 93 of Badass Records Podcast, which in my opinion, the greatest year for graduating high school, in the Gen X
93?
pocket. 93, class of 93.
96, babe.
I mean, you're right there.
Xers,
You're right there. And so hanging out with April Lemon, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, giving me a little slice of your Saturday. And we go back 20 years, right?
Yep.
To the great McCoy's Public House, R.I.P. in peace, to not only it, but everybody's good buddy, Dave Avitable.
Yes.
R.I.P. to him as well.
Dave.
Right. So 20, we met roughly 20 years ago. We've been talking about doing this for close to 2 years.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's so exciting because, sometimes something just fizzles and doesn't happen. So I'm really glad that you're here. And so tell me what it is you're doing now. When we were talking, you were like, I have a day job, but I also have a side hustle doing PR and events, and you're still some combo of that, or what is the...
Yeah. I mean, my hustle is like PR and writing and storytelling. I started with that, but I kind of got into events a couple of years ago. I got an internship at an art museum doing events.
Nice.
And it kind of changed everything. Like, I had been working on political campaigns, thought I was going to do government communication when I went back to school and finished my degree, and then needed an internship to finish. Got a job at an art museum, and then I found my freaking purpose.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
That is so it combines everything, like music, PR, writing, events, like the arts,
So when you write, are you writing for passion and pleasure, or for pay, or for both?
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just writing for you, are you the kind of person that puts your butt in the chair at the same time every day, or is it all over the place?
No, it's all over.
Over the place. Yeah. I always I ask that anybody that tells me that they write. I've spent many hours in the chair writing myself, and when I was in school, there were people and students and professors both that were like, yeah, I'm 3:45 a.m. every morning, and some people were like, I'm 10 p.m. every night, and I was like, I wish I'm all over the place. Like, I would love to have a nice discipline, but it's just I don't think that's in the cards for me.
Yeah, I would say I'm an event planner, and it's very detailed. I am very organized, and when I'm working and doing that role. But outside of that, I hardly plan anything. I don't schedule. I gotta just roll with things, and
that's a good mix.
Definitely have to be in the mood, or if I find somebody that has a great story.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're a storyteller. I love great stories.
Nice.
And so feature writing was always my favorite thing to do. I always wrote about politics, music, and then people.
And when you do PR and events, and is this all? Are you your own entity? Are you employed by somebody?
Kind of both. So I
Okay.
just launched my own business, which is Blonde with the Wind Productions,
Cool.
LLC.
Very cool.
I do small and large scale events.
Okay.
I do fundraisers, music festivals, pretty much anything arts based. Like I want to do some cannabis events now that Missouri is legal. Woo woo.
Right.
Like everything but weddings. So
Okay. So do any of these
and then I do promotions and like I help bands get gigs at around
venues?
town. Yeah,
Cool.
venues.
So does any of this take you elsewhere? Do you travel for any of this stuff? Not, I mean, outside of like our little region, are you getting on planes? Are you making long drives?
I'm not getting on planes yet.
Right, but you.
But yeah, my goal is to be regional.
Okay,
Like,
cool. Very
I'm
cool.
not. The great thing about a communications degree is I can do that from pretty much anywhere.
Right.
It's freeing. Like that's why I chose that.
Yeah.
Not only is my passion, but like I don't have to be confined to a space. Like I can do it anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with events. I can plan those, like show up for those. So I work in Wichita, KC. I've been to Oklahoma, but like that's mostly
Okay.
my
Right on.
space. I'm from Wichita,
Yeah.
so live in KC now.
When we were talking, you mentioned something about Nest Records. Is that a thing that still goes on, or was it a thing you did previously, or what's
Yeah, it
this?
was a thing I did previously.
Okay.
They were a local Wichita label.
Nice.
Probably had like 10, 20
Artists?
artists under them.
Wow.
And I've hired them for events. Like I'd hired their bands, the guys that run it. So I mean that's how I know a lot of musicians too. Because
Sure.
I always try to add music to my events if I can.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
it
was.
sets the vibe, right?
It's
But
the best.
no, I was doing some booking and like I'm really big in helping my musician friends because I love music. Like,
Cool.
Like
Now,
it's a passion, but as far as like doing it full time, no, I realized I did not want to be a booking agent.
sure.
And I love bands and I love artists, but like they're dramatic. Like, I just want to hire you and come and play for me and I'll go and support your shows and see you. But other than that, like, no, like
Yeah.
I know people that do that. I mean, the Queen of KC, Gina Tarantino. I don't know if you know her, but you should have her on.
She, I feel like, has been. She must have just had a gig or something because I feel like she's been.
She focuses more on like hip hop and
Okay.
rap and like that sector. And I mostly,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a promoter and stuff, so I put shows together, but I deal with mostly bands and
Do you think
and hip hop artists.
she would be interested?
Definitely.
Well, I mean,
and I mean, she is fire.
right?
I mean, I see other people doing what I'm also doing in Kansas City, or I want to do, and like she's inspiring.
Cool.
And she, also had a PR degree and kind of like
Nice.
quit working for other people and started doing her own thing, and she's doing some really great things. Gina Tarantino, look her up.
I mean, I'm gonna, and if
Yeah.
you know her personally, maybe
I'll let her know.
So that's exciting to me in the same way that having you here is exciting to me. Episode 90 was a female, and it was like there was almost maybe an 11-year month in between gap. An 11-year month, Jesus, an 11-month gap in between female guests. Just so many dudes.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm grateful for all of them, but it gets a little.
Well, it is very much like it's like when you work in music and the entertainment in general, like. And music, it is mostly male dominated.
Will you?
And it's not easy to be a woman and to work in that arena. You deal with a lot of shit like I think women do on the daily in almost any role that we have. But
Right.
there's a lot of sexism and a sense of entitlement.
Of course.
And you have to have some thick skin and you have to, just kind of own your power. And like, I think in any situation, but like, it is interesting.
Do you think that the self-entitlement is coming from musicians and artists and people that you're working with, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
And so is that a thing that you think men and women both experience, that sense of entitlement coming off of those folks? Or do you think it's elevated for, like women are experienced at a greater level on that particular piece? I mean, the sexism I can see, it's everywhere you want to look. But the
Right.
sense of entitlement piece, maybe not so much. Do you think that that's, heavier in the direction at women, or no?
I don't know. I guess I can only speak from my own
Sure,
experience.
fair. That's fair.
And then I know a lot of women musicians that do deal with some shit from venue owners or like other bands, or just it's kind of ridiculous on some level. But that's like some people.
Yeah, it's just it's a curiosity to me because both parties like need to arrive at a spot to make whatever the thing is happen, right? And
Right.
so you would think that like that would always be priority 1A, and you get the thing done, and then maybe if somebody acts a certain way or says a certain thing, once all the pieces are in place, then you could be like, go fuck yourself, man. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's pretty much how what I do.
Okay.
But when I do my events, like I'm hiring you for a thing, like, and I've hired bands, and I've actually taken one off of an event I was doing because it was a situation where they were gonna try to tell me how the timeline was gonna run and like why I should change all these things for them, and I'm like, I can't. I wish I could accommodate you, but I can't.
Wow.
But it is a sense of entitlement, and I have to tell bands that sometimes. I wouldn't say all of them. Sometimes though, like no,
Right.
It's like this isn't like you can go do your thing.
Right.
We're
right.
doing a business transaction. It's a negotiation. If
Sure.
it doesn't work, fine. But no, I'm very much like I have to assert myself. Otherwise, people will,
Walk all over you,
yeah,
or be weird, or something like that.
or they have a sense of entitlement, or they think like, I would say when you're successful and you get attention, like people want to feed off of that.
Okay. I suppose that could be
Some
a
people,
good thing
yeah.
and a bad thing.
True.
So when you were doing stuff with the label, either Patrick Spray of Center Cut Records was kind enough to come do an episode with me, and it's him and a partner, and they're very selective about who they sign. They openly support those they don't. They're local. But for those they do sign, it's like there's two of us. We have only so much energy and so much in the way of resources, so we can't just sign everybody. I was curious were there some cool learning experiences when you were with a label that showed you like how an artist gets signed, or anything particularly cool from that experience?
No, I was not like really in that role, so
Okay.
I don't know like that much about it. Like I'm more on the booking side, promoter side. It is interesting, and musicians and bands, like there's a lot of personalities, a lot of egos.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
can see why you have to be selective of who you work with, because I think a lot of people think, oh, well, I play music, that should be enough for me to like be huge and successful, and like people should just flock to my shows. Well, no, there's so much that goes into it, especially like on the promoter level, like the business side of it, which is why I try to explain to bands too, is like, this is how you're going to make money. They're going to pay you, but it has to make sense also for the venue owner too. Like it's like,
Yeah.
it's a transaction and it's a full-time investment. You have to go hardcore. You have to promote yourself. And there are some people that think, oh, well, I just want you to go do all this work for me and make me successful. And I'm like, I don't work with people that way. You have to want it. If I'm working harder for you than you are for you, I don't know. I'm not sure I really want to work with you.
It should be.
Because, like, yeah, I will help you and I'll help
Yeah.
my friends. But if you're not working for it, I ain't got time. Like,
Yeah.
That's, to be honest.
Well,
And it's lazy and it's hard. I mean, like, the odds are you are not going to be a huge rock star. You're going to play some music and enjoy it. You better love it. Like, and if you get to make money, be a working musician, you're hella lucky and you figured out how to make money.
You're in the minority by far.
Yes.
And, that's an interesting thing that has come up too with a few artists that I've talked to. It's like nobody, and a lot of them are in like a bunch of different, like, this is my primary band, but I gig with these people and I record with these people. And it's like all the people, it's like nobody's gonna have, a hit in the charts. Where this is artistic expression. Do we want you to like buy our shit on Bandcamp and come see our shows and buy our? Of course, yes, and listen to our stuff. Yeah, but like, let's not, put the cart before the horse here.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have another job.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. And so then it's like, and so you have
it's an
your
investment.
yeah, and you have your days and weeks that here's where I can carve out some time to give to this thing. But then you're in a thing with other people and they're also doing the same. So you got to find common ground. You would think that would spill out into like a promoter or a venue owner or a PR person or whatever. But no, I would think it would be, you would not only do you want to see equal output in terms of work, but some sense of mutual inspiration. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm the musician, like I really dig the way that you go about doing your thing and vice versa. Otherwise, it could, I would imagine it could be stale or even worse, in
Yeah,
that
and
trend.
you gotta hustle it. I mean, it really is. Like, your odds are not good, but if you go out and make your way, I mean, that's kind of what I did when I fell into events. And like, after COVID and sitting in my house for almost a year and not doing anything, which almost drove me crazy. I'm an extrovert. I love live music. Like, that was the lack of music for me was huge. I did a lot of dancing in my living room, like, drinking wine and getting down. But like, when they did lift the restrictions and events could happen again, like, I went full force. And like, I just started putting shows together because I loved it and I wanted to hear music again. And luckily, these venue owners were like, okay, yeah.
Right?
And I kind of fell into it. A friend of mine died, and I did a
Oh,
festival
damn.
for him, which
Oh,
is
cool.
Yosh Fest.
I'm sorry, what?
It's Yosh Fest.
I
Yeah.
think I saw stuff about that.
And so that was the first music event I put together just by myself with my own money. And like, and after I did that, like, I'm kind of addicted to it. I don't ever really
Cool.
make money off of those shows.
Do you break
like,
even?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Nice.
Like, usually, yeah.
Very nice.
Because I pay all my
Congratulations.
artists, I pay all the bands.
That's
like,
so cool.
I hardly ever ask anybody to play for free for me. Like, I know bands get asked a lot for fundraisers, but like, it's my experience as an event planner. I have a budget. Like, you can pay the bands. Like,
Right.
And that's also a goal of mine too. Is like, I do think that artists and musicians should be paid for their work, but it's not easy, and there's budgets involved. And like, but I've always paid bands for any of the events that I have.
Awesome.
And so Blonde with the Wind Productions is official. It's launched.
And it can be found where?
On Instagram and Facebook. I'm working on my website. Like,
Okay.
this had just happened. But
Blonde with the
it's-
Wind.
Yeah, Blonde with the Wind Productions.
And there's an E on the end of blonde, right?
Yes, there
Okay.
is.
It's an important, they mean different things.
It
so.
is. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, that actually goes back to a story. Like, the first time I moved to KC, I found this bumper sticker. Like, that was Blonde with the Wind.
Nice.
And it was on my car forever. My car actually got stolen, and that's how they found it. Was Blonde with the Wind.
Oh, really?
So it kind of stuck. and
yeah.
So it's my brand now. So
Very cool. So Blonde with the Wind on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
If folks want to reach out to do a collaborative arts/music related function festival.
Yeah. So I'm available and would love to collaborate with some KC people. Like,
Very
that's
cool.
why I love Kansas City. I'm so happy to be back here. Like, it's an amazing time to be back here. Like, you know what? When I left, I think I voted for the Sprint Center in the election, and then I moved to Lawrence.
Right.
And I've come back. I didn't have to pay for it, but came back and see what Kansas City has become and done.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Like, the KU won a championship the first 2 months I was here. We just won a Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
It's awesome.
it feels great to be in Kansas City. I
It
think
does.
it's a great spot to be. It's like I feel
there's
like we're the it place to be.
There's a lot of cool structures. There's a lot of cool programs. There's a lot of cool people. There's a lot of cool projects. There's a lot of
Arts,
good
yeah.
food.
Development.
Yeah. I feel like it's finally hitting me. I mean, the last 10 years I've been in sales, so my office is my car. I'm
Yeah.
driving a ton, and I really feel like now I'm assuming that the population of the metro area has kind of slowly risen over the last 20 years. I haven't looked at numbers, but I feel like it's finally palpable in traffic everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there are
And
plenty.
there's no housing. It took me 3 months to find a house to live in. I had a job, but I couldn't even find a place to live when I came
Wow.
back. And it's still kind of like that. Like
Yeah, yeah. So that's good stuff. I want to backpedal and take all the way back to your folks, and if you happen to know how they met.
My parents?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know the story is my dad annoyed my mom to death, and like that's how they met.
Oh, good job, Dad.
Yeah. It worked. He's goofy.
Right.
But yeah,
Are they? Or do you have siblings?
I do. So I have 5 siblings.
Okay.
I have 4 sisters and a brother.
And where are you in the?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And did
But
they?
now my dad, my dad's really like he helped instill in me like my love for music.
Okay. Very nice. I was just about to ask. Where did they play music in the home? Put on music to listen to when you got.
My dad had an amazing record collection.
Okay. Is it still around?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, in use.
It's like Pink Floyd. I mean, all this like 70s, 80s like
Sure.
music. Even he's got some 90s stuff. But that was like one thing my dad it has passed, and like that was the one thing I want. That's the only thing I wanted was his records.
And
I still have them. Yeah. Yes.
nice.
So
so
like yeah.
So he's kind of in that classic rockish vein. What about mom? Was she into anything?
Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Juice Newton. I
Heck
listened
yeah.
to that earlier today because
Nice.
I thought about my mom and like that song. Everything think of my mom.
Very cool.
The first concert I went to was like Eddie Money and Crystal Gal.
Ooh.
I was old.
I mean,
like,
that is.
I think I was like 8 years old.
Eddie Money.
Mm-hmm.
2 Tickets to Paradise, not Eddie Rabbit. I Love a Rainy Night.
Actually, it might have been Eddie Rabbit.
I
think it was Eddie Rabbit.
I think that tour sounds familiar.
It is Eddie Rabbit.
Okay.
Yes, because that's
Yeah.
the name. Sorry, Eddie Money. That was wrong. But it is Eddie Rabbit.
Yeah, and he had something else besides I Love a Rainy Night, and I'll probably remember it as soon as you walk out the door. But that's hilarious. So that's your first show. What about your first album, Love? Whether it's one you got or listened to or borrowed or whatever.
Probably Cyndi Lauper.
Okay, girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's a good one, man.
Yeah.
There's like,
I mean, Madonna was cool, but I always liked Cyndi Lauper.
yeah,
I liked her music better.
for sure. Yeah, she was fascinating. Like really, as the '80s were kind of unfolding in all the different ways that it was before our eyes, and then you see like kind of just off the wall outfits, in terms of clothes. And she was like I'll have one of those, please. And
Yes.
and we were like, oh wow, I didn't know you could, just and obviously being a prominent female figure on the radio and MTV, and very cool gal.
And it really was Cyndi Lauper. What I liked about her, she's awesome, she's beautiful, amazing. But it wasn't just about like her body, like making her this sex symbol too. It was like kind of just her and her character
Yes.
and being like punky. But I appreciate and love female artists, and especially bad bitches that had the balls to like work in that arena, because it's not easy.
Right.
Like it isn't.
Yeah.
Like Tina Turner, who just died. Oh my God! Love her. I want to do a Tina Turner tribute show. If somebody can find me a Tina Turner, I'm ready. Like, seriously. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, but PJ Harvey,
Yes.
Tori
yes.
Amos, like people that weren't traditional, even Gwen Stefani.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Liz Phair. Somebody's had a Liz
I love
Phair
Liz
record
Phair.
on their
Yep.
list, and somebody else too.
and the Breeders.
Yes,
The Breeders,
yes. The Breeders came up recently. I did one of the venues that I traveled to, a skate bar in St. Joe.
Okay, I haven't been there yet.
And the dude that was booking acts for them at the time did an episode with me, and he had Last Splash on his list, and I forgot.
I
And
just want to get along. I just want to get
yeah,
along.
well,
I love that whole album. Oh
I
my
forgot until
Ugh.
he brought it up that Kim Deal was the bass player of the Pixies, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, that's fucking right. Like, what a
God. Which
trajectory.
I've never seen the Pixies. I want to.
Do they still get around?
They've toured.
Okay, interesting.
They might have last year, but a lot of bigger acts, and I'm not sure why, but they hop over KC. It's like Chicago, Chicago, Denver. I'm like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, can I get some Radiohead? Can I get PJ Harvey, please?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
KC? Come here. We'll pay you. We'll buy the tickets.
So born and raised in Wichita,
Yeah.
and then so high school there.
Yep. High school and college was my ticket out.
Okay.
And I moved to Lawrence.
Okay.
Went
So
to KU for a while, partied my ass out of it.
right, which is precisely why I didn't go there,
Yeah.
because I knew that was gonna
It
happen.
was too much stimulation for April.
Right.
Like, whew, wow.
So between your time at KU and you starting at McCoy's, fill in that gap for me, or was it bam consecutive? Or
No, I mean, I lived in Lawrence for a couple of years. And yeah, school wasn't working out, and I was frustrated. I moved back home for like 3 months in Wichita, where I did not want to be. I hated Wichita growing up. Like, I've grown into it now as an adult. I have a different appreciation for
Sure.
it, and it's come
Well, yeah,
it's come a long way. But yeah, I moved to Kansas City on a whim. You know that radio tower that's like 39th?
yeah, Signal Hill,
My friend Skippy, I knew two people, Skippy and Alicia, and
not Skip Flynn.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Skip
So
Flynn.
yeah, Skippy, Steven,
Right.
like one of my BFFs, but yeah, he lived over there. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move to Kansas City, and like I just kind of picked where I was gonna live based on that tower.
Okay.
And
That's
then
one
lived
way
on
to do it.
Southwest Traffic Way, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't know shit.
Right.
Had $100 after I moved here, and just made it happen.
It's
and
fucking
then
bold.
when Jacob Weller hired me at McCoy's, it was like,
Was Skip
oh,
working
yeah.
there and told you to go in, or did you go in on your own?
No, I worked there first. I got him his job.
My bad.
Yeah, come on.
So you applied, Jacob hires you, and you're there for 5 years, 6 years?
3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
I got fired.
Did you?
Yes.
For what? I don't remember.
Insubordination.
Somebody told you to do some shit, and you're like, no.
Yeah, Matt.
McLean fired you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a power,
I mean,
struggle, whatever. I get it. It was whatever.
I can see that. Well, what? So from there,
I mean, I'm not mad or anything. but,
right?
like, yeah.
I would have been for a little bit. And from McCoy's, what was next?
I ended up going back to Lawrence.
Okay.
I was going back to school
Oh,
and did not finish. Almost did. But I got sucked back to Wichita for family stuff. So,
okay. And then
And I had a kid and all that. And like, yeah. And then I was doing contract work for a while for a corporation. And like, honestly, every day I went to work, I felt like my soul was dying. And I quit my high paying job and I went back to school. People thought I was crazy. I was like, nope, I'm going to go get my communications degree, follow my passion, do what I want. And it worked out beautiful. Like, it's amazing, like, the opportunities that I've been given.
Cool.
And just finally, at this point in my life, I'm happy. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. I'm making money.
Hey.
If I would have known 20 years ago I could get paid to, like, throw these events and basically, like, Party Girl KC, I would, oh my God. I would have done it a long time ago.
yeah, I know, but you'd be an entirely different April Lemon
I would, yeah.
than you are today.
I needed that experience, like,
Right,
that growth,
right.
You know?
And it's
So-
hard to see in your 20s and 30s. It's hard to see. Like, I just want, give me the thing. And it's like you got some more
Figure out what the
stuff.
thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps to get it. You got to know what it is if you want it,
So back to Wichita for family stuff, and are there until recently or a year?
Yeah, I moved back here in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, on a
and-
whim. I actually applied for a job. Like I quit a job that wasn't working out, and wanted to do something different. I applied for a job I thought I could just do for a minute, like in between interim.
Sure.
And then it ended up being this
I'm
awesome
only gonna
experience
be here
at
for a
KC.
minute,
Yeah, I
y'all.
got hired to do events for the KC Realtor Association.
Oh, cool.
Like, $400,000 to throw their parties and like do some cool shit. Like I've done stuff at Kauffman Stadium. I've got First Pitch. I've got National Anthem. I've got we've done events at Monarch Stadium. I've set record fundraising levels. I'm like, I'm
No
a
way.
badass. Like, so when I
Nice.
say event planner, like I can do your corporate gig, or I can do like the smaller stuff too.
Sure.
But
Very cool.
I love it. Like and I say KC is my playground.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to be
Nice.
right now and that is also why I'm so thankful that I got this opportunity and got to come here because,
Right.
I mean, in Wichita, there's just not the same opportunities.
Right.
There is some.
There's some,
there,
yeah.
but
It's not the. It's
not
the
on
same.
this scale.
Yeah.
Not on KC where it's at. So now I'm KC girl. It's one of my hashtags, KC girl and Blonde with the Wind. But yeah, it's an experience. But this time around, like, last time I was 22, didn't know shit.
But I bet you thought you did.
Oh yeah, I thought I did.
I mean, I know. I thought.
And
I knew
Casey
some-
schooled me. It definitely made me more street smart. Like I figured, like you know what I mean. It
Okay.
definitely made me more aware of people and
Interesting.
working in Westport.
Yes.
You know
of
what
course.
I mean?
The
Like
very
what we
first.
saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we saw them shoot somebody in the alley behind us. We saw police riots. Like oh my gosh, some of the crazy stuff that I've seen. But I think all that experience, because in my job, like I have to deal with like I'm running the show, but there's a lot going on event day. It's kind of chaos. But
Yeah.
I think like McCoy's actually kind of prepare me for that because it's kind of the
Multitasking.
same mode. Like when we're in the thick of it
Yep.
and you're just going.
I need hands out to the patio. Fuck.
Yeah.
I totally can't give you that
But
90
you
seconds
go and it's
right
a
now.
rush. Like I do get an adrenaline rush from doing events. Like I wake up on event day. I mean, Rome could be burning. I don't care. Like let's do it. Like it's
Heck yeah.
It's probably the healthiest addiction I have.
That's that's a good way
Yeah.
of putting it. So
And they pay me, so
right, that's of relative importance. Since those days, social media has MySpace was around back then, but I mean, shit.
my MySpace profile is probably still out there.
Still
somewhere.
active? Yeah, mine probably is too. But it has become almost an indescribable multi-legged animal. And there's good and bad to it. I get on certain platforms, even though I know at my core I don't even want to open it, but I do it out of habit, and then I'm like, fuck this, and I leave. So there are things that I see people say and do that are just, cringe to me. And one of them is how many folks say, look at my mini-me, blah, 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 and whatever the activity or the thing is. And every time I see somebody say that, I want to say, have you seen April Lemon's kid?
Oh my god,
She is the poster child for mini-me.
She is mini-me. Thank goodness.
And
I'm cuter than her dad anyway. So come
Well,
on, like,
and I've only seen a couple or three. How
Yeah.
I don't think you post a ton, but every time I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
look how much she looks. It's nuts.
it is nuts. Like you know what? But like, my daughter is the best thing that happened to me.
I mean,
like,
right?
She gives me structure. I am kind of a wild child. Like I was totally cool. I was totally fine with doing whatever, going with the flow of life. And then, now I have this human being I have to care for and create. I should maybe get serious and do something, right?
Right? Yeah. I mean,
But she's the only thing that's ever tamed me. So,
sure. And
like-
and 6 a.m. or whatever time you
Yeah.
get ready for school, and then
It's work.
How many years did I go on a bag of combos is fine for the day, and I'm gonna have 56 drinks later.
Yeah.
And now it's like I got to get those 3 squares at least in their bodies, and make every time the season change happens, like you have 0 pants that fit, like oh shit, fuck, all right,
Yeah.
okay, it is something
They
else.
cost a fortune.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, but it worth what they provide in terms of that structure and love
Definitely.
and taming or whatever it is that
Yeah.
your child has given you. My children are
More of a purpose. They have
Yes, I
it's
wish
like,
they liked.
damn, well, now I can't die. I got to stick around
I
for at
know.
least this amount
I
of
know.
time.
I was
Dang
gonna
it.
too. I
Yeah,
was real.
right?
I was working on it.
But, it's like, I don't really want to be 100.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
So,
Tom Segura, stand-up comic, has a bit talking about when you come back from summer break and you've gone from second grade to third grade or whatever, and you're like, "Where's Kenny?" And they're like, "He skipped a grade," and you're like, "What?" I want to skip a grade. He's like, "No." They're like, "Nah, don't even just get that out of your head." And he's like, "I want to do that in life. Just
skip a grade.
go to like 70. Just skip like 4. And people are like, I want to live till I'm 100, and it's like, really? Have you seen 80? Like, it looks awful.
I mean, at some point, I have my own spiritual beliefs, but like, I don't want to be here forever. I want to move on to the next.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go create in the next universe.
And also, like, a lot of folks, even the ones that know me and like me, don't want me to be here forever. Like, they're all like, that's enough of you, man.
No.
I'm kidding. So,
but there comes a point where, like, it's not the number. It's for me, it's the quality of life.
Right. Absolutely.
And I will say, like, after living through the plague and 2020 and all that shit happening, like the whole mind fuck of it all, like, it did actually, like, I'm not wasting any time doing anything. It's actually maybe more, I was already motivated going down that path and chasing my passions. But now I don't waste any time. Like, I'm constantly doing things. I'm constantly experiencing life to the fullest because, it could be over at any time. I'm 45 now, right? I could, I'm at least halfway done, mostly.
And we'll move on here in just a sec, but I got to tell you that you have, if not by name, you have in spirit come up multiple times in episodes.
Really?
Because
I love that.
A lot of folks are either currently or former service industry folks, and the notion of oddball downtime challenges comes up from time to time, and one that I am always fond of is talking Jimmy Sullivan into doing a line of wasabi powder.
Oh my god. I have not thought about Jimmy Sullivan forever.
Right? And then you were around for Kevin Kim, right? As the GM.
Yeah, Kevin is that, like, he's still with freaking that. I'm pretty sure he's still a GM. I got a name to do some bookings at Barley's. Actually, my boyfriend, like, he was like, hey, I went to this place, and he was like, it's a bar called Barley's, and he was like, I got the name of the booking agent because we're always trying to find our friends, like, get them booked, and I am looking for a date that's open for December 13th if anybody has one. But he hands me this piece of paper, and I'm like, it's Kevin Kim. It's got to be the same Kevin Kim.
In Iowa?
No, is he here?
I think he's in Iowa.
Then how?
I don't know.
Is there two?
There must be. But point being, he used to pound. We had to keep extra milk on hand because he would come back to the pantry and pour himself a pint of glass. Sometimes he'd put back 3 in a row. So then it's like can you consume a gallon of milk challenge without throwing up, or eating saltines. Can you eat and because your mouth will shrill. I mean, it's like it's impossible. But I remember one day, if you remember, Cap was a position at the bar. So if you go through that little bar entry, the first chair is called Cap, and there's a hole in the bar top because there used to be a cappuccino machine there. So they'd always ring in shit under Cap. But you were sitting at Cap one day, and it was like we were 10:40. We weren't open yet. And some of these kinds of things came up, and I just I think I thought of it, maybe I didn't, but a coffee mug of pancake syrup for $5, and you're like, I'm on it, and just zoom, and I was like, oh my god,
are you for real?
For real?
I don't remember that.
Well, it's stupid because I was not a person that.
I think you're confusing me with somebody else.
Absolutely not.
Syrup?
Yes. I swear.
Was I drunk?
No, it was like before a brunch
True,
service.
yeah.
I mean, so maybe.
No, I was not. I wasn't. Yeah.
Anyway, it just that
That's
those
funny.
stories always make me giggle. And Jimmy I just brought Jimmy up on the tattoo guy episode because it cracks me up that I mean we could look at your parents actually. Let's see, my favorite spring month and my favorite piece of citrus. But his parents give him Timothy James as first and middle name, and it's like they didn't, I don't think, see that if both of those became nicknames, he would be Timmy Jimmy. So I would call him a bunch of different things. Timmy Jimmy. I would call him Tex. Most people called him Smokey because he
Yes,
was
they
always
did.
higher than, a kite and didn't believe in Visine, I don't think. But do you remember the
I
table?
couldn't get high and wait tables. It didn't work out for me. I'm a horrible server.
No. I would mid-word. If you said omelet, I'd be like, what'd you say? You know what I'm saying? Like that's...
Yeah.
But most people called him Smokey. And we were, you remember the table number we would hang out at after shift?
No.
42.
42.
Table 42 was the one right there off of Expo on the way to the bathroom.
On the corner.
We were sitting there one night and somehow, he was like, it was this paradox of humanity because he was big time stoner. He was very Christian and he also liked metal. And so it was these three things, like, how do those... And so one night, Slayer comes up, and he's like, my favorite line from a Slayer song is... And he's talking like this, and then just morphs into, I keep my Bibles in a pool of blood so that none of its lies will affect me.
I think I've probably heard that.
I was like, holy shit, man, that is hardcore.
He's a wild one.
Anyway, fun times with what can you challenge your coworkers to do with somebody else's inventory of supplies.
Yeah.
So you were kind enough to shoot me a list. I really appreciate it. I like to roll through them.
I don't remember what's on it now.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love when people don't remember their list or if they don't listen to any episodes because then it's just raw, Anyway. So chronologically in release order, puts us at 1977.
Yeah, the year I was born. Woo woo.
Pink Floyd Animals.
Yep. I love Pink Floyd Animals.
So let's see here.
Pigs on a Wing. Yeah.
10th of 15 for them. 5 tracks, 41 minutes. I could talk at length about pretty much every single Pink Floyd record ever, but this one would probably get more time than any other because it is very, very special to me. And I had it I have all on cassette. I had it forever, but I think I gave it one listen and then put it away for a long, long time. And then one day I pulled it out and I was like,
out.
what? How have people been letting me? Anyway, special for me. Why is it special for you?
I mean, for the same reason. I think it's like the best. I mean, Dark Side of the Moon is pretty badass too. I mean, Pink Floyd's amazing. I grew up on it. It's my dad's favorite band. Like so many pictures of him with Pink Floyd. Like, it's such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
But this one, I just think it's beautiful. Like, and I like it. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you why. It's just like every time I hear it, it makes me happy. It brings me back to my dad and my best friend Yosh that died too. Like, he was a big Pink Floyd fan. I actually never got to see Pink Floyd. I did sit on my phone and hit redial in like 1994 and got my dad and a bunch of family members tickets to Pink Floyd in Kansas City.
Nice.
I was supposed to go, and then last minute, my dad said, we're not going to take you. Like, sold my tickets and left me at home. I was pissed.
I had tickets and I moved.
So many people went to that show. Did you go to it?
I moved to Colorado. I had to sell them. Yeah, but I mean, I actually had...
I never let my dad live that down. I was like, I literally pressed redial. This is before the internet,
Oh, yeah.
like to get those tickets.
And
And then
then
he told me, he was like, well, we can smoke weed if you went. I was like, at that point of 16, I was smoking weed already.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And I think too, the furthest 100 90+% of people that I have talked to, whether I knew them then or met them later, that were at that show, were like, "Oh, it was the best show ever." I'm like,
I know.
I wish one
everybody.
person would say that it sucked, so I could feel a little,
It's a sore spot for me too, Blair, because I was like, I had a ticket. It's supposed to be and my friend Trent. They were supposed to take, and they sold those damn tickets. I'm never let my dad.
Probably made a.
I've still never seen Pink Floyd play.
Well, I mean,
but everybody, I know plenty of people are like, oh yeah, I went to that. And like, and again, they said it's the best one ever.
Yeah,
I've never seen them.
Me either.
Or Roger Waters or any of.
I did see Roger Waters, and it was fine. It was fine. I will say that the first couple of 60s albums that they put out, that brand of Floyd is not really for me. Like, it has never.
It's like experimental. Like they were doing a lot of acid. Like Saucer Full of Secrets.
Yes,
I liked that maybe when I was younger. But I actually listened to it not too long ago, and maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset or whatever. But it was like too much for me at the time.
And then the 60s are over, and so they have a couple of really cool records before Dark Side. But I mean, Dark Side is massive, and The Wall is massive, and Wish You Were Here, also very, very massive, and often overlooked is Animals. And it's like these three get so much love, but this is maybe their purest, rawest, rockinest record.
Like their first genius creation, in my opinion. And they did, like you said, plenty after, but
right.
That is my favorite. Collectively, the whole album, and I love Dark Side of the Moon too.
Yes. It's a great, and a wild format to say, here's 5 songs, but songs 1 and 5 are only 1:19, and then the 2 and the 3 in the middle, the meat and potato, they're all like 10, 11, 13, and feature really, in my opinion, the best David Gilmour guitar playing and best Roger Waters bass playing in a rockin' sense that you ever get in their whole catalog. I don't know. It's a really
amazing.
Cool record. Yeah.
You know who does it really well is freaking Les Claypool.
Flying Frog Brigade.
I was at that show, dude. Oh. That show, I almost didn't go. It was my boyfriend's birthday, though. I was like, we got tickets and we went. And oh my God, I was blown away by that experience. And I've seen Les Claypool several times.
Okay.
I saw him in his Sean Lennon group that he did.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
I don't know a lot of things. So
you need to check it out. It's interesting.
Where did you see Flying Frog Brigade?
At Grinders, KC.
How long ago?
In May.
Oh, did they do some Floyd?
Yeah, a lot of it, and he does it very, very well.
Well,
he did Pigs on the Wing. I actually cried during that. I'm not even gonna lie. It was so awesome, and it was him, Les Claypool, opening for Les Claypool. It was him on stage with about 30 other musicians playing everything from his Primus era to Pink Floyd, and he does Pink Floyd so fucking well.
They put out a CD of I think it's Animals in its entirety. Yeah. And I remember hearing that in college in 97 or something like that, and being like, fuck, this might be better than the original. This is really, really good.
It's close, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best top 5 shows I've been to tons of shows. I love live music. I'm a junkie.
Yeah.
I'm a music junkie.
So you take a big leap from 77 all the way to 1993. Again, shouts out to episode 93 and class of 93. PJ Harvey, Rid of Me.
PJ Harvey, this is my girl. This is my queen. Oh my God. I actually was listening to this on the way over here.
Nice.
Yeah. And it always makes me happy. Rid of Me, Man Size. I want to do that metal karaoke somewhere. Give me a stage. I'm going to do this shit.
Cool.
But I love PJ Harvey. She's edgy. She's 130 pounds of badass.
Right.
And I don't know. She's just, when it comes to rock and roll, she does it well.
Lots of.
I've never seen her. I want to. That's another chick. Hey, PJ Harvey. I guess I'm gonna have to fly somewhere to see you. PJ Harvey, Kansas City loves you.
Right. I
will put you up. I'll book you a room. I got you. Come on.
There's a lot of really cool tidbits about her, i.e., some friend took this picture in a teeny tiny bathroom, and her hair is like soaking wet, so she flips it back,
Yeah.
and they just, here.
And it's
And
iconic now.
and whoever was on the receiving end of that was like, it's got watermarks and blah 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 all over it. We're gonna have to. And she was like, no, like that, And there you have it. It's just.
And that's very PJ Harvey.
Exactly, exactly. She's collaborated with a lot of folks, musician wise and producer wise. I think. And then I saw that she said this is second of 10 records for her. Her primary thing is to not repeat myself. So this record can't sound like the last one or any of the ones before it. And then she's changing like her style of dress and her hairdo between, and then
Always evolving.
the cover art and the live performance. She doesn't want any of that to, seem similar or have overlap. I'm like, that is fucking super admirable.
She's got her vision.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Doing it,
following it, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of how I am with events. That's why I like to do what I do, because I don't really have to do anything twice. I get bored doing the same things over and over. That's why I like to do a variety. Like, and that's also, but
do you remember?
No, she just released a new album. She needs to come to Kansas City. Like, seriously.
Tour in support of it, yeah. Do you remember how you crossed paths with her? Was it the first?
Harvey?
Yeah, the first time you listened to her.
MTV.
MTV.
I'm an MTV kid. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Back when MTV played videos, and they had like their Alternative Nation.
Yeah.
VH1 had Alternative Nation. They had all the cool shows. Like, no, that was before the internet. Like, you either played music, the radio, or you bought it, or you watched MTV. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw her on MTV.
One of my all-time favorite.
I discovered a lot of shit on MTV.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, Nirvana Unplugged, one of the best albums ever.
One of my all-time favorite memes. MTV turned 40 years old yesterday. Thank you for 11 years of music videos.
Yeah, it's true. So what happened? It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Revolutionary.
I mean, I guess people still make videos, but I just don't see them.
So you discover her via MTV. She's been in film. She's a sculptor. She writes poetry. She's got paintings and drawings in a literary magazine that Francis Ford Coppola puts out, and there's like Woody Allen stories in there. I was like, Jesus.
I didn't know that.
What? Yeah.
You
What?
know more than I do.
What doesn't? I mean, just like literally in the bucket of the arts, like what doesn't she do is the question I find myself asking.
Well, and she's like obviously a true artist. And
Yeah.
I admire people that are creative and artistic. They're not always appreciated, but like I like people who are different. I really do. Like, I like the oddballs. I like people that are just who they are, and also to create things. Like, she's not only doing music, she's doing other things. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think
that's like how my expression is through music and the events that I do too. It's also like, producing something. I want to start doing more like, maybe some stage productions or something. We'll see. Like,
cool.
Yeah.
I think if I'm remembering correctly, Steve Albini was the producer on this, who had worked with Nirvana, and was maybe gonna be the guy to do In Utero, and then I think him and the band decided somebody fresh, somebody different would be. Anyway, whenever I see his name pop up, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There was some. I guess he was criticized for the production of this. In terms of how well her voice is.
This album?
Yeah, in terms of how well her voice is or isn't audible. Which I don't know the album like you do, but I was like, it sounds fine to me. I don't know what
I guess I'm not a sound person. I'm not an audio engineer. I guess on that level, but to me, it's fucking perfect.
Perfect the way it is.
Yes.
Nice. And
I like that about her. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
are you familiar?
It's not like overproduced to the point. It is a little raw and edgy, and I like it for that reason.
Yes. So have you checked out most of her other stuff, or no, just this one?
Some of them I have not listened to. I've heard like maybe one or two songs off her new one.
Oh, okay.
But I need to. And I really want to see her play live.
Right.
PJ Harvey, like, come on, I gotta see that. There's some people you have to see. I'm gonna have to fly to see her.
Well, for sure. And expense it, because it'll be
it's worth it.
Totally part of the thing that you do.
My idol, like my number one female artist
right
ever, PJ Harvey.
So from 93 to 1 year later,
Nirvana,
MTV Unplugged in New York, live acoustic Nirvana 1994, 14 tracks, 54 minutes, an epic recording.
Awesomeness.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, no skips.
And that was Kurt Cobain's last performance.
I have seen some stuff where it's like this what do you call it? The cardigan, the sweater that he's wearing. Somebody bought for some, insane amounts of money, and other things I think that were part of the stage.
Like, he committed suicide like a couple days after this
recording.
Couple days?
Was it that soon? Mm-hmm. Really?
Actually, if you watch that last song on that album, like the live recording, like, it's pretty damn intense. And I remember when that happened, I was so sad. I actually wrote an article for my, I did newspaper in high school.
Same.
Editor.
And college.
That. So yeah, me too. But I wrote an article. I was so disappointed. Like, it's so sad. Nirvana is one of those bands I never got to see. Like, I've seen Dave Grohl, but there's some that it's like, God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this album, is fucking amazing.
It really
acoustic, all the covers that they do, all the meat puppets, everything, the whole thing is beautiful. I never get tired of hearing it.
I didn't realize, and I mean, somebody else not too long ago had this. Jeffrey Calkins of the Aztec Shawnee Theater is one of the venues that he had this on his list, and I
need to meet up with him. Yeah.
And I listened to it. He's super cool. He's really great in terms of high quality human beings. They don't get much finer. So I revisited this for his episode, but I didn't even notice then how many of these were covers. There's of the last five, or 5 or 6, 4 of them I think are Meat Puppets covers. There's a Bowie cover, and I was just like, God, I've always listened.
The World,
yeah. What about
and Brilliant? Oh my God, it is my favorite Nirvana album. I like all of them, but this
Do
one.
you? That was exactly what I was going to ask.
Favorite.
Do you, I mean, because there are parts of In Utero that I really like, and not much on Bleach. It's just too much for me. It's a little aggressive.
I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, Bleach is probably my least favorite.
Okay, and then grunge as a whole. I mean, that was popping off, sprouting.
I was a grunger. I mean, I'm in the 90s.
Okay. Who were some
those kids growing up? I loved it. I've never really been a poppy person.
Right.
I like some pop albums, but that's just not me.
Right.
But yeah, grunge,
Who are
Pearl
some?
Jam.
Okay.
I slept on a sidewalk overnight to get tickets to that show, when I was 15 or 16 in Wichita.
Oh wow.
Because that's what you had to do to get your front row tickets.
Yeah.
There was not any.
You were at least
internet.
in a sleeping bag, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and you got got yourself a ticket though, right?
I did get myself a ticket.
Nice.
And a good one. But yeah, I will camp out. I have camped out for tickets, for the right one.
Absolutely.
Who else did I see? Oh, Sonic Youth. Oh my God, that's one of my favorites too. I did see them.
Cool. I've heard they have put on a
Sam.
great show.
They opened for REM.
Oh wow!
Amazing.
What a bill.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It was 96, I think.
So.
And then the Breeders, So.
Yes, the Breeders. How many records did they wind up putting out? I should know. It's 5, maybe.
I don't honestly know how many.
Me either. But so you call yourself a grunge girl, but when we were messaging you,
rock, hip hop, all kinds.
Okay.
Of, yeah.
You said "Purple Rain" was your all-time favorite song. Is that still true today?
One of them. I don't have I can't pick just one.
Sure,
that's my thing. Just artists, people are who's your favorite band? I can't just pick one.
Well, I think you threw Pink Floyd in the ring.
Well, Pink Floyd would probably be
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them, but I do love Prince. I saw Prince here in Kansas City. He played Kemper Arena, and I was working at Baja 300 at the time, and like my
wow.
roommate worked at O'Dowd's, and I couldn't afford their tickets because they were like $160 to that show. And at that time I was broke and working in restaurants and shit like that.
Yeah.
But we got gifted some tickets, and I was supposed to work the night, so I gave my
Gifted?
manager, I was like, I will give you tickets if you let me off of this shift, and she did. Her daughter went, but the roadies came in and gave us a bunch of tickets. They were like nosebleed up in the like
Sprints.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I cried. Yeah.
God,
Again,
nice.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
I love, like, Prince is amazing. Oh my God, he's a brilliant musician. It makes me so sad, like, just like Tom Petty, the people that we've lost to pills and shit, like drugs. It's like, damn.
Yeah. So another thing you mentioned was local music scenes. Did we kind of cover that already? Are there pieces you want to touch on still?
I'm learning the KC music scene. Like I've worked a lot in Wichita, and KC somewhat, but I feel like KC's a very interesting place. I'm kind of surprised about how it is. Like KC really loves its cover bands, and I think it's hard for original artists in this town to get gigs and to play. And that really kind of surprised me. I thought it would be the reverse. You know what I mean?
Well, I think there's a mix of both.
There is, and like I'm learning it.
Yeah.
Matt Cody, he's a local musician. Like he's kind of helped me, like telling me like venues to go check out, like bands to go see, because I have no idea. My favorite band in KC right now is Stranded in the City.
Okay. Stranded in the City.
Stranded in the City. They're a blues band. They are phenomenal. These guys are like killer.
How often would you say they're gigging? Like,
well, some of them, they play the house musicians for Green Lady Lounge.
Oh.
But they play Westport Flea Market.
Oh, cool.
I think every third Sunday. They play around KC quite often,
okay.
and I love them. They know.
Antonio,
I love you. But they're amazing. Like it's just.
I gotta say,
there's two brothers, the piano player. Like they are just. What do I call them? The next gen of KC Blues.
Okay. Nice.
I coined that for them, yeah, because they are that badass.
Well,
they have a guitar player. It's like this Mexican guy, and he's like probably like 5'5", probably as tall as I am. But oh my God, when he plays, it's like holy shit!
Wow.
Like everybody in that band is amazing at what they do. Like
nice,
solid.
I've been to the Green Lady Lounge probably 4 or 5 times, and every time I've been there, it's been like just a different pocket of people that I'm with than the last time, and the service is different, and the food, whatever. But the one thing that's always the same is that when I open that door, I hear just fucking badassery coming through, and that was what happened the first time I was there. And the second time I was like, I really hope. And when I went, I was like, yep, this is legit. I feel like I belong here. And then it happened the third time and the fourth time. And it's like, I've never even.
Antonio on the drums, and they do keyboards that they're played like different musicians. It is the only place in downtown KC where you can hear music 7 nights a week.
Is that for real?
They are the
7 nights?
7 nights a week.
Holy shit!
Every night till 3 a.m. Like, which is rare because usually most places down there Monday and Tuesday there's nothing.
Yeah, ghost town.
But,
7 nights a week till 3 a.m.
But it's amazing. It's iconic, and it's kind of like speakeasy. Awesome. It has 2 levels, and yeah, they always have.
And then they opened up a spot next door, just south. Right, it's also.
Yeah, I haven't been in there.
Even smaller. Like you open the door and everybody. You're like right there. It's like, oh shit. If memory serves.
Yeah, no, I found that place like when I first moved here. I bought tickets to Modest Mouse show and got an Airbnb downtown, and it got rained out.
Oh damn.
But we were like, well, we're here, so we went to dinner and asked our server. I was like, hey, where can we find music? It's like I think it was a Monday or Tuesday, and it was like Green Lady. And that's how I met Antonio from Stranded in the City. They're like, I love these guys. Please go check them out.
How long have they been together, do you think?
for a while.
Like handful of years, maybe, or
Yeah, like it's kind of an interesting story because these guys like went to school at Fred University in Wichita. Like
Oh,
it's
wow.
really interesting. There's this pocket of musicians that come out of Wichita that all went to Friends University under this one music teacher, and they are the badasses of jazz and blues and shit going on in Kansas City right now. So they all kind of have this connection. So he also has a Wichita tie.
Okay.
So whoever that music teacher was, like, thank you, because every single one of those people is amazing at what they do. So yeah, Josue Estrada, he's a trumpet player down there. Sage Judd, he's a keyboardist. Like,
Cool.
these guys all work together, but they are really brilliant musicians.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I know you touched on COVID, the plague just a little bit ago, but when we were messaging, you called it the post-COVID clawback of live music, which I thought was very nicely.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I like that. It kind of is.
Right? And so, that just feels sluggish and slow, but determined. Is that kind of the vibe behind that phrase? Like, this is a thing we got to resuscitate, and it's going to take us a minute to get there, but by...
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, venues really lost their asset. I mean, like a lot of people did when everything shut down, you know what I mean? And there's these restrictions, and there's, this thing going around killing a bunch of people, and it has taken, I think we're back to where we were.
Right.
But it's been a slow clawback for live music to have shows to play for them to be successful. Because, I mean, not everybody is crazy. I got my COVID shot and was like, I'm going to get this because I can't sit in my house anymore. And if that means I can go to shows, fine.
Right.
And so I've been doing it ever since.
On the opposite end of the people spectrum there, I've known people in my real life that have tickets to a show, and you must show your Vax card, and they're like, no, and they like give the tickets away or sell the tickets because they're like, fuck that. And I'm like, God damn, okay, all right, but
yeah, I mean, it was something that I think venue artists and venues, they have a right, I guess, to choose how they want to approach that.
Right.
But the reality is, when I wasn't doing, when everything did get shut down, I was actually working for the Sedgwick County Health Department. I opened those vaccine clinics with them. That was my job, like COVID communication. But, as we learned, the vaccine's not going to keep you from spreading it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's been a huge clawback. And thank God they got, like, a lot of them did get some government assistance. Like, they pushed hard for that. They had to advocate and lobby Congress to be like, help us out here. Because,
right.
I mean, I looked at buying a venue in 2021, and there was just...
You looked at buying one?
Yeah, there was way too much risk for me. There was still, like, the restriction had been lifted. You can get them for a great deal because a lot of people either close them or they just got out of the business. You know what I mean? But it was a huge risk.
I bet. And also...
And I chose not to do that. I use everybody else's venues.
Yeah.
I will have one day, but...
right.
I'll have a stage. But it is a clawback. I mean... And the ones that made it, And then I feel like once we kind of got out of that hump of 2022 or 2021, what do I call it? Like the roaring 20s. We are in the roaring 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, because everything's coming back to life and being...
And people came back out. Like, events were super, like, record attendance. I think it's kind of chilled out a little bit. But...
for sure.
No, I mean, it is a callback for live music.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the venues that did offer that.
Yeah.
But it did open a lot of opportunity for me, like as far as getting into events and promoting, because not a lot of people were doing things. So I just I've just approached venue owners and throw some ideas out, and they'd be like, okay, it's amazing what you can get yeses to.
Right.
And have vision. So it opened a lot of doors for me.
Cool.
I don't think I would have had otherwise.
Right.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to get in.
No.
So.
No, it's not. So one more time, Blonde in the Wind.
Blonde with the Wind
Blonde with the Wind.
Productions.
Sorry, Blonde with the Wind Productions.
My page on Facebook's actually Blonde with the Wind Entertainment. They will not let me name it Productions for whatever reason, but
Like you tried and they were like, nah, but you don't
Yeah,
know
no.
exactly why.
no. But I will have a website soon. But yes, like anybody interested in doing some shows, events, I do consulting, PR, promotions.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you building that thing yourself? Or are you having somebody else do it? Like, what's that look like?
what website?
Yeah.
No, I'm hiring somebody. To do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I'm not that tech savvy.
I had to do the same.
And I'm not a graphic. I hire a graphic designer. I outsource all that stuff.
Right.
Like
It's important to know your strengths and your weaknesses, right?
I mean, I have vision, but I don't have the
Sure.
patience to do the whole Adobe, Premiere Pro crap.
Well,
That's
it's
the video one. isn't it?
whatever. It's
Illustrator, yeah.
It's not only doing it; you got to learn it before you do it.
No, I'll just pay you.
Yeah.
I'll
Exactly.
tell you what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some great graphic designers that I work with and stuff. So
Nice.
But yeah, so just doing that, and then I've got a few things kind of in the works right now. I'm not I don't have a full-time day gig at this point in time, but
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Sure.
Hopefully, we'll have a stage I can operate from and run.
Cool.
So I will let you know where I end up landing,
Well, I definitely want to connect before we get you
and
out
I
of
want
here.
to book some shows. So
Hey, absolutely. 5 funny finishers. Just goofy questions to
okay,
loosen up a little bit and wrap. The first one, imagine you've cobbled together a top 3 bucket list for yourself, and you are given all the resources necessary to do them. Which one's first?
on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Having my lake house with my hot tub in the Ozarks. There it is.
Booyah.
That's all I want out of life, honestly. Materially,
I love it.
like,
That's great.
I mean, yeah, I want to produce and create cool things. That's what I love, what I do, and I'm passionate about. Like, I get to create these awesome experiences for people where they enjoy it. It's way better than politics, which is what I did before. But no, that's all I want. Like, lake house in the Ozarks with the hot tub.
What about the Ozarks is special for you?
I just think it's beautiful. I love it, like, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And I've always been a lake baby. I love the lake.
Okay. Nice.
And for me, that's my spot.
And now, are you a person who can kick it in a hot tub for a good while, or are you kind of in and then, that's enough, I'm out?
No, I'm chilling.
Chilling. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm having my drink. I'm having my.
I
Yeah.
envision this hot tub on a deck that looks out on the lake, and there's
Yes.
some forest.
Yep. Me and my daughter were talking about it today. Like, we already have it in a vision.
Ooh.
It's going to happen.
I love
like,
it.
You gotta have goals.
Yes.
Also, I have a communications degree because I can, just spend my summers out there. And my ultimate goal would be like, I really want to do a music festival. I want to maybe plan like 1 or 2 big ones a year, which does take a lot of time and energy, like on the operational scale, to
course.
plan and coordinate all that.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do that.
Cool. That's awesome.
And then everything else. in
If
between.
you
I can't sit still, so.
if you do wind up doing something like a festival or booking a gig, and you want to come on and do another episode and talk about that, I'd be more than
Yeah, you
happy.
would help me promote my shows in KC?
Why not? Yes, of course.
Yes, I love that.
You get to have lunch.
Blonde with the Wind is working on some productions. I'm gonna do a Halloween one next year in the West Bottoms.
Cool.
I might be doing a cannabis event, hopefully in the West Bottoms. I love the West Bottoms, but
That's great.
Yeah, I've got some things in the works, so I'll have some stuff to talk about.
You get to have lunch with any person of your choosing, dead or alive. Who and why?
Snoop Dogg.
No shit. I love that.
I know people were like, "Oh, it could be like the Dalai Lama or whatever." I mean, besides my dad, if we could bring it back, but no, Snoop Dogg because
That's
it's funny as hell. We're
he
gonna get
is.
high.
That's
You know what I mean?
such
Like,
a great
I love
answer.
Snoop Dogg.
I
Like,
love it.
That's I've been asked that in interviews. I usually don't throw Snoop Dogg out. Like,
I
but
wish I would have thought of that
depends
myself.
on creative, yeah. But no, I'm serious. I would love to hang out with Snoop Dogg,
Dude.
I've had dreams hanging out with Snoop
He's
Dogg.
the best.
Like, just kicking it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I didn't realize really until I was a good way into this whole thing that he was really like, Instagram launched and fucking nothing. And then he was posting a bunch of times a day. And then it like got off its, got its feet under it and got going
So he
because
gets the credit for building Instagram.
no, I mean he didn't build, but he was like the first.
Yeah, he's posting all the time. I love his.
His
I love
posts are
page,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are given the ability to visit your past self at any age. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
Oh my gosh. Ugh, I don't know. No, I'd probably go back to like 22 and just be like, you know what? Have more faith in yourself. Like,
Really?
I feel like your 20s, like, it's a really a point in like our lives where we're not 100% sure of us. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have that confidence. I'm like, man, if I could have what I have now, then, like,
No kidding. Doesn't it feel
freaking
like
unstoppable. But I think you grow into that.
yes?
But I mean, it sucks to be in that.
I feel like
I'm
I
not wasting my time, like more being more focused. I partied a lot, you know.
Same.
And now I get paid to party.
yeah.
But
So
it's different. It's channeled. You know what I mean?
I felt that way very, very much so at that age, but I also felt like nobody else did. Like it, not because I was asking and people were telling me other. It just felt like everybody else was more confident. I don't know.
No, we're just faking it.
Yeah, that's the answer I was hoping
But
for.
I mean, you don't even really know yourself. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
That's very fair.
you're learning, but yeah, that's
Right.
probably the one thing I would.
I love that. That's a great answer. Complete this for me, please, if you would. The world would become an immediately better place in which to live if only.
Women held more power.
Hey, all right. And more time in the seat here with me.
Yep.
I'm joking. More power for, I mean,
No, I mean that is kind of that is a goal of mine. Also, and what I'm doing in like my business and promoting, like, you know, I do consider myself a feminist. I like supporting female artists, but really, I think, especially in music, I feel like we need more feminine
Yeah.
in it.
yeah.
There's a lot of masculinity. There's like, you know what I mean?
I would say artists too.
And artists, and we like it's just a different vibe and creativity. Like I know a lot of venue owners that I work with. I'm like, I'm not just like everybody else. I'm probably more detailed than, but like, you know, just operate a little bit differently and have something else to offer. And I think like having a little more of that is good. There's like too much. And I love men, and I
Sure.
love my, you know,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
my best friends,
Yeah.
like whatever. But no, you need to like mix it up a little
You
bit.
just get a,
Yeah.
come on.
Come on.
Last but not least, this is a true or false. So true or false. It is okay and acceptable to wear the T-shirt of the band whose show you're going to see.
Yeah, you can do what you want.
I love it. Okay.
I mean, what if I get a signature? You know? No.
Fair point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rules.
Okay.
I mean, maybe some people be like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that." Whatever, just be you. I'm gonna wear whatever I want.
And now I do answer that question that way. No, don't do it, because I already know that you're a stranger, and I already know that about you. That's why we're both here. So show me something else you're into.
Right.
But you know, and you ask
Like
that,
I've never worn their T-shirt to a show either. I buy them when I'm there, but like,
yes,
I'm not wearing it.
Yeah. Funny, when I started asking this question, it didn't occur to me in the beginning that I would be eventually asking musicians this question. And some of them are like, absolutely no. And a lot of them are like, if it's my show and you're buying one of my T-shirts and you want to put it on, and went, fuck yeah. I was like,
that's
oh,
how
that's a
they're
good
making
point.
their money. It's on the merch table.
Right,
That's how
right.
bands make their money traveling
Yeah,
mostly.
exactly.
I mean, and yeah, that's your brand. I would hope to hear that from a musician.
Right.
Like, yeah, you want everybody wearing your stuff,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
like to the level of like Nirvana. And now I see like, you know, the retro T-shirts and stuff like that we had growing up, or now, like, you know.
My daughter wears a
Dude,
Nirvana T-shirt
I
that she
know.
got at like Old Navy or
Yeah.
something. And it looks just like the one, when it
Yeah.
came out.
Sublime, all them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's why you're making those T-shirts. You want people to wear them.
Yeah.
And I have way too many.
I do too. I've been out of space
Like,
for
kinda,
T-shirts
yeah.
in my drawer and I just keep fucking buying them.
Like, who
But
can I throw away? I don't know.
yeah, exactly. Then one rips. I'm like, oh, that helps. That helps.
Yeah.
Okay, Blonde with the Wind Productions.
One with the Productions, yes.
April Lemon. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing from you soon and often regarding things that you have going on, things that you're cooking up.
Yeah.
Hashtag KC Girl, right?
Yeah. Blonde with the Wind, hashtag Casey Girl.
Very
yes.
nice.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.